Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Get in the Garage.
We're a music podcast.
For music lovers.
We have a great show planned for you today. But before we do, as always, remember to like and subscribe and share and check out our last episode, too, featuring Mr. Roy Houle. This is episode 101.
Oh, I feel like a Dalmatian.
We're going to be discussing songs about dogs.
get your paws on this
Get
episode.
your paws on this one.
That's not what we're doing.
No, that's not what we're doing at all. But again, just to recap, yes, like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you can, rate us on iTunes.
What we're doing is
awaken
we
the
have
algorithm.
dogs over here, and we're gonna rate them from 1 to 10. We're gonna have our own little dog show.
To Get in the Garage.
We're playing death metal for dogs.
It's
I
dog.
thought that's what we're doing.
Get in the dog garage. Anyway, let's
Get in the kennel.
get in the kettle. Let's get it started though. Let's we're fine. Yeah, here we're fine.
The dog pound. Getting the dog pound.
Wow, wow. It'll be Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, Vanilla Dog,
Swamp dog.
Swamp Dog.
And Lil Bow Wow.
Oh yes, I forgot about Lil Bow Wow. Are there any other dog artists? I can't think of any.
The Chihuahua.
I mean, DMX.
He's half dog.
He's half. The good half. Only the good half. He's half Pitbull. Oh, Pitbull. There you go.
There we go.
Please,
Mr. Worldwide.
please clip that.
Yeah, let's
Please
clip it.
that.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so to start off, we like to maybe do some things that are around in the music news. Luke, do you have anything for us to kick off our music news segment?
I have breaking news.
Breaking news. Oh, here we go.
Dude, please, thank you. Thank you. This is a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Foundation director charged in conspiracy to sell stolen Eagles lyrics. So
Oh, you stole mine.
I did steal yours.
How apropos.
3 people have been
I hate the
linked
fucking
in alleged
Eagles, man.
conspiracy to steal handwritten lyrics from Don Henley of the Eagles. The guy's name is Craig Incarati, the curator for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's like the guy that helps like set up exhibits and stuff. So supposedly, here's the story that went down: is this guy back in the late 70s was supposed to write this biography on the Eagles, and he got this stuff and he stole it, and it never got back in the hands of Don Henley and the Eagles. And it's all like the handwritten lyrics to like the Hotel California album. So it's like, worth a ton of money. And
There's a lot of cocaine pressed into that paper.
don't you know it? So
You got high just from holding it.
Life in the Fast Lane. This dude says he bought it from that dude, and like he's like, I don't have it, but he's also trying to like sell it at auction, and he doesn't know where it originally came from. So I actually think Don Henley wants this back, and he's actually quite litigious, as
Oh,
a quick
very.
Google search would tell you.
We should probably stop talking. This might be pulled from YouTube.
Don Henley, I see you.
We love you, Don Henley. The Boys with Summer, one of my favorite songs ever.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can't never leave.
So that
Yeah.
happened, and that guy's like, I didn't, get these shadily. So they're really going back and forth. And then after Glenn Fry died, he was like, I got them from Glenn. And then everyone's like, come on, man. Like, you can't say, like, right after the guy dies, you're like, that's where I got it from. The guy that's dead.
The perfect crime.
So,
One might say.
stolen Eagles lyrics, and someone's in jail. It's a,
Yeah, I saw that headline and I was also just like, who gives a shit?
yeah, it's like, yeah, thank you. It's who gives a shit, but also,
it is
this
funny,
is why
though.
I'm
It's
like,
funny.
who gives a
It's funny.
shit, though? Because I'm like, you're going to pay $1.8 million for the lyrics to Hotel California? Like, it's a good song to some people.
It's
just
no
like,
stairway.
it's just like, I don't know. That seems like a lot of money for like something kind of like, that just is like a museum piece anyway.
Well, that's what it is, though.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
The
it's
world
like,
of NFTs.
what do you
and
do
all
when
that
you
shit.
own it? You take it out and you're like,
You don't take
you're
it
like,
out. That's
those
what
are it.
No. Do you laminate
Those
that?
are the lyrics to Hotel California.
You highlight
You
it.
no,
highlight
you
Your favorite.
you probably put it in like a frame, some kind
Yeah,
of frame.
right. Some sort of, but you need it. You know, it's going to disintegrate eventually, man. You need to put that in a climate-controlled vault or something. God forbid.
They need to put it underneath the Declaration of Independence. Like,
No, the guy that buys it like goes home, takes out his copy of Hotel California, just sticks it right in the sleeve. Like,
Yeah.
there it goes.
Just use it as-
molds into the record.
just use it as rolling papers.
If you smoke a joint with the lyrics to Hotel California on it, that's how you escape the Hotel California.
That's Nirvana.
Oh,
man.
is that how it's?
That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
the only way.
that's how you leave.
Well, there you have it. So, if you have any information on the whereabouts of the origins, where the lyrics were found, please let us know.
Please let that guy know.
Let
so
that
we
guy,
can-
yeah, let him know.
So we can go back rocking
He
in the
definitely
hall.
wasn't Glenn. Anyway, Jeff, do you have any fun music news for us?
Frank Ocean, notable pop and R&B hip hop singer, released his some new music. It's not really like songs, but he released about a half hour of musical score on his Blonded Radio, which is his radio show on Apple Music Plus. What's that called? Apple, whatever their version of
iHeartRadio.
Spotify is.
or-
Yeah,
I think it's
I-
Apple Plus.
Apple Music.
Apple Music. That's what it is.
think
Apple
that's
Music. Apple Music.
Yeah.
That's what
So
it is.
it's like
They're
a
streaming.
it's like a
Right, right.
trancey electronic score, and it's like the soundtrack to a conversation about microdosing.
Cool.
Yeah,
Do you have Apple Music?
I don't, but I do free trials every now and then to listen
hear
to
it.
things I want to listen to.
I hear it. I hear it.
So it's worth checking out. It came 10 years after the anniversary of the release of his album Channel Orange, which was his studio debut full-length album. So a celebration of 10 years of that album. And Frank Ocean hasn't released like a legit album in 6 years, but
And should put his stuff on vinyl because it gets bootlegged like crazy.
yeah.
So get on that, man.
Yeah. So check it out.
You're missing out
if you
on a
have
lot of
Apple
dough.
Music.
Yeah.
A lot of dough.
So we talked about, how like Kate Bush kind of had that sort of resurgence. We've got another Stranger Things making old songs famous again. Metallica's Master of Puppets is like the latest song, and Luke and I were talking about this earlier, and how like
Yeah, I
it
mean,
seems like it didn't really.
I've watched. Okay, so like I don't watch Stranger Things, but like when that dropped, like I saw it on Instagram like the next day, like the full sequence of it. It was really cool. It was like, well, I mean, I have no reference point of what's going on, but it was really cool. It was like kid like playing a heavy metal riff to like summon some demon or some shit. It was awesome,
Or some shit.
right? Like,
What was it? Hold on, I can.
He
keep talking.
does it as they are all starting to fight
yeah,
Vecna, who is the creature from the Upside Down.
Iggy Pop.
Yeah. So it's like this is like
This is
the
your
moment
context.
where everything is going down. The big build up the whole season has been going to.
yeah, and I mean, I watched it, and I was like, I wondered first of all if this was like a direct thing to like piggyback off the Kate Bush thing, but I was like, they have no interest in making another song famous for no reason. So, but I watched it and I was like, is it gonna happen again? And to some extent, it kind of did, but like not really, not on the same impact that Kate Bush song like did. That was like a huge song that like just happened now for people. And I think Master of Puppets, I was like talking to Mike, I was like, I think it already like happened for people. Like
It's also a metal song, so like how much crossover in current pop
correct.
can it have?
Right,
So-
right. So like it didn't like really like have like that moment, but it, like Mike said, it had a moment in like the metal community to some extent. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and in kids, like the 15-year-old kids who are listening to Metallica for the first time, and it's a badass scene, and it's cool because if you go onto streaming and you find the Stranger Things season 4, I believe it's like compiled as a playlist by Spotify. They have that mix that's on the episode, which is like different mix, like there's different stuff comes in and out and different builds, so it's cool to check that out because
Oh, right on.
he didn't just like play over the track from 1986. They
Yeah.
like remixed it and put different things in it. So
did you
Yeah.
also see the TikTok James Hetfield?
I was
did?
just gonna say.
I did,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I was just surprised he was able to,
Did you guys see the TikTok of Scott Stapp from Creed? Doing doing the the guys only singing the vowels to with arms wide open. He's like, and Scott Stapp mimics it to itself. He looks like he's doing well. He looks like he owns a vehicle. So I'm proud. Everything's great.
He could be leasing.
Yeah, he's probably leasing. Let's not get it twisted.
Lease to own, guys.
Lease to own. Let us know what you think. I mean, you know,
do you lease or do you buy?
Do you
Yeah,
lease?
let us know what you think about what Scott Stapp.
No.
Let us know what you think about Stranger Things.
Yeah, and the Stranger Things thing, and also, you know, it's funny because, you know, I find like the metal community is so, you know, it can be this kind of closed off.
It could be like comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because metalheads are, you know, they're like you know, it's where it's my old posse.
Every genre
if
can
you
be
will.
like that. But.
Yeah, every genre can be like that. But metal, you know, you fucking sold out, man. Even though Metallica's the epitome of the band that quote unquote sold out.
They had an IMAX movie.
They did have an IMAX. Was it Through the Never?
Yeah.
Which it's like, could you just make a title that makes sense? Jesus Christ.
Their
guys.
answer? Never.
Never. But I love Metallica. I mean, all the three of us, you know, we, in varying degrees, have respect for Metallica and love Metallica and stuff.
Check out our Metallica episode.
Yeah, we did an episode on Metallica. Yeah,
it's audio only, but
it is audio
we get
only.
into
Yeah,
it.
but we do get into it. Yeah. So, do you like Metallica? Let us know. Do we have any more music news, gentlemen, or shall we move on?
I mean, Bob Dylan's sold did you hear that record, that Bob Dylan record, "Blown in the Wind"? Because I did because I was like, this is stupid, but I was gonna bring it up anyway. But anyway, T-Bone Burnett made an Accelerate record that sold at it's a brand new recording of Bob Dylan doing "Blown in the Wind" from last year, so his voice is shot, and thank you. And they made a high. I'm a huge Dylan fan. Everybody, by the way.
Yeah.
So, they made an Accelerate disc, like a high, hi-fi Accelerate disc, and it sold for $1.7 million at auction, and it comes in a black box, and it's literally a vinyl Accelerate disc. It is one of the craziest things I've ever.
Accelerate disc. Can you?
An Accelerate disc is like a demo disc for back in the day. If you were at the studio, you know, in the Beatles Get Back. If everybody watched that, they'd be familiar with it. When they're like, "Can we get a disc of that? Can we get a disc of that to bring home?" And they're playing them on the record players in the studio. They're playing Accelerate discs of themselves, and they're listening to themselves.
Is that like a?
It's like a
lathe cut into?
I believe it's
like a vinyl.
I believe so.
Something like that.
It's something like that. It's like they don't last forever. The old ones did. This is a high functioning one that got sold at auction.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. But they weren't meant to last forever. They're kind of collector's items now if you have them.
Is that
Elvis's first record?
Yeah.
That he made at Sun. It's an Accelerate.
Oh, okay.
That's what that was.
So
Jack White released that a couple of years ago.
So you're saying that this is a more recent recording?
Yeah.
Is that
from 2021?
Is that something that is because I don't really know. I'm not hip. Is that something that's available on streaming as well?
I don't think so. I think it's only on this record that sold for $1.7 million.
Oh, so it's like a one of a kind.
Yeah.
That this is kind of it. Because I was gonna say it's for that much, man, to hear Bob Dylan just kind of grumble through some songs.
So I thought this was
Yeah.
insane. As for everybody that knows and listens to the show is I'm a record collector, but I'm I have limits, man. I don't buy stupid stuff like that. I can't spend that kind of money on stuff.
$1.3 million on a Bob Dylan album.
Well, even to be it's a guy that's I would collect all those the high it's so ridiculous. It's your ears can't. At what point you're listening to.
Yeah.
Neil Young can hear the difference.
Yo, that Ponyo player, it's like Neil Young. You've played with Crazy Horse. It's there's no way
You can't hear anything.
you can hear the sonic difference, but that's it. You can hear the difference between an MP3 and a record player.
Yeah.
But anybody can, literally anybody. You're like, that's an MP3. That's a record player.
You know that he just a tangent. I saw an interview that Neil Young selected the mix on one of his albums by playing it through stacks of speakers in a barn cabin, and he went out on a boat onto the lake, like an eighth of a mile away.
Multiple records. Not just one record. He did this for multiple
To be
records.
like, how does this sound on 55 12-inch speakers
And then he'd
from
be
a
like-
quarter mile away?
and then he'd be like,
50,000 didgeridoos.
and then he'd be like, what does it sound like in the car?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, take it out to the lake again.
Yeah,
He's
he's gotta
like,
take
new
it.
mix.
He's
He
like, no, I
hated
can't
the-
talk right now. I'm in the studio. He's just in a canoe.
He hated the mix of Comes a Time so bad that he bought like the first gold, like enough gold records of it, and he shingled his house with it so people couldn't get the mix of it. Because they were like,
Yeah,
no,
that's a
Neil.
madman who wears a
They were
pot
like,
on
no,
his head.
this is going out. It's done. It's going
There's a
out.
fine line between Jesus and stupid.
And he was like, this is going out. So he called the distributors, bought like hundreds of copies, and then shingled his barns and houses
Oh my
with
god!
them.
Yeah, we were talking earlier this week. You know, like 'cause
Oh.
we like to you know
Also,
talk about what albums we're gonna cover and stuff.
we were going to cover the Neil Young record this week because it's the bigger, it's probably the biggest release this week.
Yeah.
Like no shit, it's the biggest artist release this week, and we don't have we have Spotify, so
I don't
we
have Pono.
could not listen to the newest Neil Young
Or
release,
Tidal or whatever
and
it's
we
on.
can't tell you what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
but he's only. I
and
think he's exclusively Amazon Music, right?
I think so, but I'm just gonna say
I
here.
don't think he's on any other streaming.
We
platforms
we
except
usually
for
don't get
Amazon
too
Music.
too political on this show, but if you're gonna tell me right now that Spotify is a better company than Amazon, who has their employees pee in bottles, then I mean I don't know what newspaper, I don't know.
Yeah, they're all guilty
just-
of something terrible.
Yeah, so pretty much I'm just upset that we really couldn't cover the Neil Young record this week because it was a record I would have been interested in cover because I care about that record, but
Yeah,
I'm probably not gonna listen to it now. So there you go.
we had to put the old crazy horse down this week. Crazy horse has been sold to make glue.
I'm a bit salty.
Hey, Neil Young.
You know, but can we just be honest here?
Southern man don't need you around anyhow.
Listen,
Also, big Neil Young fan, guys.
Yeah, big deal.
That bottom cube is like all Neil Young.
Listen, Canada's great, but here's the thing: it's I did find out, like, if you want to talk about music news, you know who just went back on Spotify? Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
I was hoping you were going to say Joni Mitchell.
Did she?
No.
Oh, okay.
I checked
didn't-
the other day.
Did you?
I'm waiting
Were
for
you
it to
feeling blue?
go. I want to listen to Hygieia.
Oh, broke.
Yeah.
Coyote.
Coyote.
We just come from different circumstances.
I don't have the same energy for you, Joni Mitchell, because I like you a lot more than Neil Young.
Oh, come on, man. You don't like Neil? I love that warbly voice.
Anyway, let's move on to the main section of our
Yes,
show.
thank you.
This
us
week
in.
marks the 50th anniversary of one of the classic movie soundtracks of all time. It's by Curtis Mayfield. It's a soundtrack to the film Superfly, which was released in August of 1972. The soundtrack album came out a month before it, I believe on July 11th, 1972. And Curtis Mayfield is an R&B singer, songwriter, guitarist, producer, and he this is in the pantheon of movie soundtracks, movie scores, movie albums, however you want to define things, alongside things such as Purple Rain by Prince, the Shaft soundtrack by Isaac Hayes. It's always like on the list of ones to check out. So we listened to it, and we're going to talk a little bit about our thoughts on it. Was this new to any of you guys? I mean, I've been listening to this for 10 years, so.
Yeah, no.
This,
I
is,
think we
this
talked-
has
we-
been
I-
like a constant rotation for in the past 5 years.
This is just a great album to just throw on and just have on.
Yeah.
Just with whatever you, especially summertime. This is a great summertime listen. Like
There's
it's
a lot of
hot,
wah guitar.
hot day. I think we covered this at one point. I can't remember when we covered it, but we do have an episode
Where we talk
somewhere in
about
the
this?
backlog where we talk about this. I can't quite remember what it was for, but we did talk about it at one point, I believe.
Perhaps.
but
But there's a lot of, from what I saw, there's a lot of comparison between this and Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On" because it's kind of concept album-esque. It's
socially conscious.
socially conscious. There's
where
you
the
know,
movie plays where it just tells the story of the drug dealings and stuff.
Yeah.
Curtis Mayfield plays the the moral conscience of it and says everything that morally that should be going on. like that plays against the movie. A movie I've never seen. So before we get into
Me
that,
neither. Directed by Gordon Parks, and very notable blaxploitation film. But that's a genre
I've never watched. I don't
I've
think
never even
any,
seen Shaft.
I've seen.
Yeah, I've never seen Shaft either. But it's like
seen-
funny because you've listened to the album how many times?
Yeah, right.
But you never like the movie itself, right?
I've seen
What is
Foxy Brown. I've seen. No, wait, was that the first Pam Grier one?
I've seen Dolomite.
Dolomite. I've seen.
Yeah, Dolomite's the only one I've seen. I've seen Dolomite.
Is that what the movie is called?
I think so. I don't think so. Yeah,
I
it is.
think so.
I think it is
the
Dolomite.
movie's just Dolomite.
Yeah.
What were the two Pam Grier ones? Foxy Brown and
Oh, I don't know.
Hold on.
she has another big one.
But this
Anyway.
the music in this it's definitely like funk, soul music. Curtis Mayfield sings in his famous falsetto voice. This notably for Curtis Mayfield is his only pop crossover #1 record, and really probably his only pop crossover as a solo artist. In the Impressions in the '60s, he did have some like crossover pop hits.
People Get Ready.
Yeah, Keep on Pushing, that kind of stuff. But like as a solo artist, he never really broke through in that way. And for this album to break in that way is interesting because, I mean, it does have the social consciousness of his other records, but it also is just like plainly very, very has long, like funky passages in it. And to that point too,
I can't see anything.
I remember the
anymore.
answer, so you need to look it up.
Oh,
anyway.
okay.
what is it?
Coffee.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
To the other note of that,
Let me put on my specs. Sorry. I can't see anything anymore. God damn it.
And to pause real quickly, when you say crossover, America at large, especially early 70s, very divided, black and white. Because Curtis Mayfield in black community, he's like one of the guys. It's like Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield, Stevie Wonder. Like those were the guys of the 70s that were.
yeah, and for even for me as like a white kid, like I was telling before, I had this record when I was like 15. Somebody gave it to me in like minty shape, and I had no idea who Curtis Mayfield was. Had no idea, no clue, no reference at all, and gave the record away. I don't even think I sold it. And this is now my dollar bin copy without like the flap over. It's like pretty beat, but that's my kind of like coming at it. Another really interesting thing about this record that I didn't really realize until I was kind of doing research for this was the use of the N-word in Pusher Man would kind of be the first time it was used in a pop song to convey not the harshness of the word, but the how would you put that?
Casual usage.
The casual use of the word, which I mean, I have nothing to say about that in any front other than that's interesting.
I thought we were going to do 10 minutes on this.
Oh, I mean, I have nothing to. I have nothing.
Just
really,
kidding,
what do you have to
come
say
on.
about it? I mean,
Nothing.
I have nothing to say about it. But I think that's interesting as
Yeah.
a art piece, not like as an art piece, but as like a as to say in his art into like.
yeah.
Maybe make that word less negative for his own community and like use it in that sense. So I thought that was very interesting, and I never like realized that when listening to it, and then you go, oh, it is, and then because the other one that was pointed out and the thing I read was Sly and the Family Stones, Don't Call Me.
Sure.
Yes,
And I think another one is I think it's Gil Scott-Heron does every blank is a star.
yeah,
Which is another no.
Oh, okay.
That might be Gil Scott-Heron. It might be someone else.
but yeah, to use it in like they were using in like the don't. At least like Sly was saying like don't, and then
Yeah.
this one's in the other connotation.
So it, like flips it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows contemporary, like how people really talk, and
Yeah.
especially inner cities, black communities, etc.
And then lyrically, this record too is, I mean, he's the like you said has like the what's going on thing. It has like the personal names of the people in the movie. Also, it's got great like I don't know what that instrument is. That's like
Guiro.
Guiro. got like that all over it. It's very like hip hop centric.
Yeah.
Like this is like
Yeah, I
you
was listening to
this.
that. I was
It's
like,
sampled
God,
for days and days. Like everybody has sampled the crap out of this record.
Yeah.
All the sound effects, all like the little things going on. Other interesting fact: this was recorded in 4 days. It was all live except the vocals. So every take on here is just a live take in the studio. So every single instrument is every single instrument,
Yeah.
which is fascinating. So there could be 30 people in there.
Yeah.
It's a full orchestra. All was recorded at the same time. So
No way. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
No shit.
so very cool.
That's really cool.
Very cool fact.
Gotta know your shit, man.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
step in here and fuck around. We're on company time.
So
We said it earlier. So, Shaft or Superfly?
I'm a Superfly. It's just purely soundtrack wise.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the movie. I mean, like the soundtrack itself. Like, what do you
Superfly
prefer?
all day long.
Yeah, what I said before we started rolling, I've listened to the Shaft soundtrack more, but that's because I put that on as like I sometimes put on movie scores as background music because it's instrumental. The Shaft album has, I think, only 2 cuts that have any vocals on it, whereas this is vocals on everything.
Yeah.
So it's very different. If I am going to choose, I would choose Superfly because it's a little bit more interesting and that everything is a real song. And
Right. So if we break it down further, then if we're talking about like great movie soundtrack albums and everything, Superfly or The Harder They Come.
Oh, I was gonna say the payback. The payback.
Oh, James Brown.
Oh yeah.
Harder They
Payback.
Come is
Jimmy Cliff.
Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah. Another great one.
But that's not like a full soundtrack.
Not that
that's like a compilation.
Yeah, it's a compilation.
Yeah,
but
I'd
it's
say it's more.
attributed
I'd say
to-
it's more fair to wrap that up with the James Brown one.
Okay,
But
all right.
I'm still going this one.
You still going
Even though
Superfly?
that
Yeah.
James Brown record is fire.
Yeah.
I mean, this and Superfly is like not only when you talk about movie soundtracks, but just albums. Like this is by most people considered to be Curtis Mayfield's best album. It's not my favorite,
It's
but
his-
it's top 3.
I think it's his 3rd album, right? I think I read.
It goes
third-
Curtis, Roots, this record, right?
Back to the World.
Then back to the
I don't
world.
know. Curtis is my favorite of his solo releases.
Curtis is
but,
also my favorite.
But this is great. Do we have any favorite tracks? Any standout ones?
Oh, Pusher Man all day long. I'm a sucker for
Yeah,
the big single.
I do love Pusher Man. It's a good one.
I like Freddy's Dead.
Freddy's
Yeah,
Dead's
which was a
also really
single.
good.
And the title track, Superfly,
Yeah.
which is very shafty. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like horns, you like wah-wah guitar, you like I got kind of sing like this the whole time.
Yeah,
Check it out.
This like has like all the great
It's like pre-disco.
It's pre-disco, but it's got all the great like of modern R&B that like does now. Like this is all the touchstones that they're touching. Like this
Yeah.
this is the cornerstone of all that stuff
Right,
that
right.
modern R&B is doing, like singing in the falsetto and all that. All of it's right here. So
Yeah. So check it out and let us know what you think. Do you like this album? What's your favorite tracks? Let us know. All right, shall we take a quick break?
yes.
We'll come back with some new album reviews. All right, we'll be right back. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Get in the Garage.
The music podcast.
For music lovers.
This week we had 2 new album releases. We're going to cover the latest album, Wasteland, by Brent Faiyaz.
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 It's like fire.
It's like fire, but cool, man.
It's like when I was saying foils all week.
Cool fire. Foil. Foals. Anyway.
Brett Faiyaz.
Brent Faiyaz. Also, what's his actual name? Christopher Ross, I think is his
Mike
name?
comes in. He's like, "Yo, you know that's not even that guy's real name." Jeff's like, "Yeah, no shit. Neither is Biggie, bro."
The Notorious B.I.G. is not on his birth certificate.
What?
You legally can't have the last name B.I.G.
But it's like Luke said though, it's like you're gonna pick an alternative name, but you're gonna make it like hard to pronounce.
Everyone, I mean, not
And then
everyone,
Jeff goes,
but
"It's fire," and I'm like,
Faiyaz.
Oh yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah.
I said to hear someone say it. It's
Yeah.
artsy fartsy. Anyway,
So anyway,
his second release
his sophomore album. There was come to find out.
Very sophomore.
entitled
I
Wasteland.
would call it elementary. So there was quite a bit of hype going around this record. Luke and I kind of saw it and we're like, all right, let's go for it, And then upon some further research and stuff, it seems like it was an anticipated album.
So the thing about this record, like the whole thing about this record, is this dude was like a producer, like kind of working with some other people, bigger stars, artists. This is an independent record. It has, it's pretty much his own thing. No big like record company push behind this. And it has features from Tyler the Creator, Alicia Keys, Drake and the Neptunes on one track, which has been out for a while. But either way, it's on this record. And Junie, I don't know who that is, but and Trey Amanoli? Trey, what's this last one? How do you say that?
Trey Amani.
There you go. So, it's has a lot of features on it. Big features on the upfront top half of the record. It's independent. So it actually nobody like we're reviewing this record. This record didn't get reviewed by like any major outlet, but it got covered by every major outlet. So I don't know if that was like a industry like thing to be like, hey, don't review this, or like I don't know, but every Rolling Stone covered it. It got right up in Variety. Pitchfork had it on their front page of albums you need to listen to, but they didn't review it.
They haven't reviewed it yet. I mean,
who reviewed it? Joe Budden on his internet show. If you want my somewhat my uncut thoughts about this record, check out Joe Budden's review.
Oh, I didn't watch it. I'll have to watch it.
So this is like the mystery thing. So it seems like it's getting a lot of hype, and it's it doesn't have any push, but its own. It's So let's get into the content of the record. It's kind of like that slow falsetto sung R&B that's like lightly hip hop adjacent. He sings, in that like kind of that falsetto voice, like I said.
It's kind of like The Weeknd-ish.
Maybe not falsetto, but he's just a higher.
Yeah, in a higher
voice.
register.
Yeah, it is very. That's what it reminded me of like 2012 Weekend stuff.
Yeah,
not now pop superstar, electro like dance shit, but his like. I'm sad in my house by myself, like that type of shit. House of Balloons and Thursday, those mixtapes from. Yeah, maybe 2011. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, the vibe of the record is kind of like, well, have Mike, you describe like the skits throughout the record that accompany it.
Yeah. It's the way that it plays out is kind of like, it's kind of autobiographical, maybe in a way where it's kind of like him. There's this story that's kind of interwoven within skits where it's kind of like, the first skit is this introduction where it's like him talking to what is his girlfriend who is pregnant, who moves to Los Angeles to be with him, but he could see from, the way that it's played out, like is like less than interested in her. And, he's unfaithful, and he's much more interested in kind of like
the side girls
and the pursuit of his own sort of career and his own musical goals and blah, 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 blah. Towards the end of the record, things get dark where, he gets a phone call from this girlfriend who says that she's going to commit suicide. And it gets really, really dark at the end. But I will say this, and
there's a light dance track to finish it off.
There's like a light dance track to finish it off, which kind of like threw me for a bit of a loop. But the thing about this album, for me, is it's just like it's
the heaviness of the skits didn't underline with like music for me. This is just me.
Yeah.
It didn't the skits were like heavy at the end, like kind of throughout,
especially
but definitely at the end, and the music wasn't as like. Didn't like seriously like underscore like any kind of like reason for like the skits to be there. Like I get like if you want to like kind of put in like a thing of like your life, but to make it like have like the tragic like it could have went that way thing, or if it did, I don't know, whatever. But
yeah, it's almost like he wanted it to be a concept album,
but like didn't stick
the landing.
Yeah,
almost.
didn't stick the landing because like none of the songs have like all like that party boy flavor, like that sad boy party, party sad flavor. Toxic, the toxic rap or toxic rock is whatever they're calling it.
Yeah,
It's got that thing going on, but it kind of is like arrogantly like toxic. You know what I mean? It's not like it doesn't really have like the reflection, and then in the skits there's some reflection, but like not in the lyrical content of like the songs. The songs are just like more of in the braggadocious nature or the poor me or like the man I can't believe I've done this again kind of thing. And that's fine. And like, you know, I'm not downing on like if the vibe is the vibe, but for me that doesn't work together. One was too serious and one wasn't. Where Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers has like the serious parts on it, and it has like some of that dialogue-ness of it, and that works 10 out of 10 because it has the facing himself in the back and facing himself in the front morally on both ends of it. Where this, like, for me, his moral compass is ambiguous to me. So when it gets to those parts, I don't really know.
Yeah,
and that's a long-winded, but like for me, that's why this record kind of, you know.
I'll just make one more point, then I'll pass the torch on to Jeffrey. There's one thing that definitely was validated in listening to this album, and it's the fact that there are a few things that I am not a fan of when I listen to music. One thing, as both you gentlemen know, it's the sound of like a fretless bass circa 1986 or 7, which is Jeffrey's bread and butter. Agree to disagree. But the other thing is I hate the sound of people kissing on like a I hate that sound. I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm not an ASMR guy, and I hate that sound. And that sound is like...
How often is it on here, though?
It's in like one... Because there's one track.
It's in one track.
But listen, it's in one skit. But one's enough for me, man.
140 seconds.
I hit my limit because it's the whole thing is like he's in... It's from what the picture that's painted in the skit is like he's in a limo with like his side chick or whatever. He's on his way to the airport or something like that. And they're like, he's like, you made me spill my drink. Oh, she's like, that serves you right, whatever. And then they're like kissing and stuff. I just don't want to listen. I just want to listen to this. I'm good.
What about the track on "Ready to Die"?
Oh, I hate that
Mike
so
called
much.
Mike called me, and then I was like, yeah, well, what about like the Eminem skits? And then I thought for a second, I went, those don't really work for me either. Like,
no, the
Eminem
skits. Well, the Eminem skits are like deliberately like
terrible.
Terrible,
so
but
you can pass the torch to me, and I'll take a.
Just drown the torch out.
I, maybe out of the three of us, I like R&B music the most, or I should say, listen to the most. I think he has a good voice, and actually, like I had seen like an interview clip of him before ever listening to this, and I was surprised that his singing voice, like it doesn't match what I expected from his interview and his speaking voice. I think he has a good voice. I don't think there's like a huge element to successful R&B music to me is dynamicism, though. If you're not dynamic, if you're not doing some low and then some big and some, he's just cool to be right in the middle, and he's never going breathy. He's never going full power.
Yeah.
There wasn't like any full like out like bops on this record.
I couldn't sing you 15 seconds of this.
The song that had the most melody for me on this record was "Gravity" with Tyler the Creator, but the beat was giving most of the melody, doing like the dum 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 dum. It was a great sub song. That song rocked my sub upstairs. It was cool. It was a great like sub rocker. That was like one of my favorite songs on this record.
And I think the other thing is like it's not really a lot of hooks or melodies and memorable moments, and the music is like that's not stacked up, that's not driving it anywhere, it's very it's present, and it's some flavor, but it's so one note to me, and it never gets like I need the loud, the soft, the push, the pull, the quiet, like I don't want to sit, especially for an hour and 5 minutes. I don't want to just be like...
Yeah, the record sits in the same feel the whole time. It does not really switch up feel.
But to go back to like what we said, where it's like it kind of feels like the landing wasn't necessarily stuck. It's just like if you're looking at like contextually like what the content is of the album, where it's like this man's like struggle with like fame and vices and money and like romance and his love life, and he has this girlfriend who the narrative, the girlfriend who moves from LA and all that. It's like you have have all the context, the content right there. That's like, this could be a super like dynamic, emotional, moody sort
That's
of an
not
album.
what this dude wants to make.
But that's what. But it's like that was what was strange to me about it. I guess that maybe the shortcoming of the record was it's just like you have all of the ingredients, and it's just like
it felt like you didn't bake the
it's
cake.
like it's like you bought all the best ingredients, and then like you forgot like you forgot the flour or something.
This is a 3 cell phone having shoe collection hype boy. He doesn't give a fuck about writing his thoughts and feelings. I don't think that's anything that he's going for.
No, huh?
He's not The Weeknd. He's not Frank Ocean. He's not Drake. He's he's closer to who's the guy? He's closer to Trey Songz, but Trey Songz is like veering closer to Usher, where it's like pure sexiness and sultry and romanticism, and whereas this guy is like kind of like cold and distant and
well, maybe I was thinking
it's a genre unto itself now. It's that
thanks Drake.
It's that it's that Drake
I mean,
thing.
really though, yeah.
But all the songs that worked for me on this record had features on them.
Same.
All of them had features because the feature comes in and switches up the track enough where you get that other at least another tone. What did we all feel about Alicia Keys rapping?
I like that tune
because she raps on it.
Controversial opinion.
It's
I'm not really into Alicia Keys.
Like just in general.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm a voice guy, and her voice does like nothing for me.
Really?
Yeah.
She does have kind of
it's
like
a little too raw or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a little too unpolished or whatever. I don't know. But
her voice is fine for me. Her song choices
like
a lot of the time
stuff,
don't do it for me.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have like a classic album. You know what I'm saying? She has like a couple classic songs.
Well, that first record was a pretty big one.
Yeah, but it's not like
with Fallen and.
It's not like it's not 10 out of 10 Dark Side of the Moon.
It was big. It was big when it came out, but also I couldn't name 3 songs on that.
That's
aside
exactly
from
what I'm
that
saying.
one, yeah.
So Alicia Keys rapping was pretty interesting. It was cool. All the songs that have features on them definitely work better. The ones where he does not. But
the track with Drake and the Neptunes wasn't bad. I dug that track.
But again, you have 3 flavors on that track.
Right, exactly.
So,
if this was all 30, if it was like a sampler collection instead of an hour and 5-minute record, if it was like 30 seconds, it's like if I got 30 seconds of snippets, I'll go, damn, this dude's good voice, and
also,
but I can't. 3.5 minutes of.
It is a chunker though, isn't it? Like it's an hour and 4 minutes.
I was gonna say it's like 3 songs too long.
Tracks too.
It's 3 songs too long.
I mean, it's like 4 skits, but still.
Yeah. Like Jackie Brown, Role Models, Bad Luck, like all the songs. Like he seems like he tried to have like theme, but the theme came too late at the end. Like I saw you was saying that you did a lot of like Quentin Tarantino movies and all that, and that was kind of like worked in at the end, but like it's so vague for me. But anyway.
Yeah.
We kind of said all we can say.
Potential. There's potential there.
There's definitely potential.
Maybe the next album will be one to look out for.
It's definitely on my radar.
We'll keep an eye on him for sure.
And a good voice.
Yeah.
Didn't blow me away, but that's because of the songwriting.
Yeah.
What's the rating?
Yeah, Jeff. Why don't you hit us first?
I'm just being honest. I was gonna say 4.5. I'll say 5.
You'll go 5.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'll never listen to this ever again.
Yeah, I'll probably meet you somewhere there too. I'll say like a solid. I'll go 5.5. I'll give him a 0.5.
I'm gonna go for 5 because I think somebody out there who's gonna definitely think this is a 5 and enjoy this record. It's for somebody. Shout
They're
out
gonna think it's a 10.
Devin, if you listen to this, what do you think?
Yeah, shout out to Devin. I gotta ask Devin about that. Shout out to Devin.
Because I bet you he really likes this record. But
yeah.
It's a 5 for me. The songwriting's not strong, but it's not bad enough where I think like it's like terrible. So 5.
Right on. Okay, well, on to the main event.
Oh my god. When you suggested this, I was like, and then like 4 days passed. You said, "Well, we can substitute something else." I'm like, I already spent an hour and 15 minutes listening to this record.
To say it was a journey.
Doesn't even begin to describe.
So
anyway, I want it. I just want it to be over.
I just don't need it.
We are going to be talking about Journey's brand new album that just came out. It is entitled Freedom.
We thank you for your 45 years of service, Journey.
It was produced by Journey members Neil, Schwan, Jonathan Kane, and Nuarda Michael Walden, the original guitar player of Journey.
No, that's a drummer.
Oh, was it? It was the drummer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who's the guitar player?
Neil Sean.
Neil
Sean.
There you go.
And Jonathan Kane's the keyboard player.
Got him confused. This record is a brand new record. They recorded it during quarantine. They were not interested in making a brand new record at all, really. They had just kind of been doing that like touring machine with like the bands that like, go along with them. And during quarantine, they had downtime. They couldn't do anything, so they recorded this remotely. Their singer, who lives in the Philippines, recorded his vocals in the Philippines. Some of them were in L.A. Randy Jackson added his bass last to the record.
Did he add bass? I could barely hear any bass in this mix.
Really?
You don't
I
need
thought
it.
I thought it was a pretty good.
Well, you listened to. I listened through fucking.
Oh no,
this.
I
You
had
listened through-
pop-in headphones. I only listened to this in headphones.
Oh, I thought you listened at home
No,
to get the full power.
I found it to be kind of difficult to because I do a lot of listening in just one earbud. I
Yeah.
would suggest at least do both. Like, don't do just the one.
Yeah.
because it's a little. It's
it
kind of
was
difficult
not
to
a
make out.
bass-heavy record. I'll say that. It's definitely guitar heavy
Yeah.
on the mix.
And lots of synth.
Yes. Tons of
Yo,
synth.
don't sleep on Jonathan Kane. He's
Lots.
the star of the show, man.
He's no Rick Wakeman.
He's the star of the show.
So, the songs on this record, I think they're all pretty good Journey tunes. Like, if they came out and played this in an arena, all of the songs kick ass for an arena. They're all arena ready. For an album, they all have like too many choruses, so that they're all like a minute and a half to 2 minutes too long.
Don't bore us. Get to the
chorus.
chorus 4 times
Four
at the end of
And
every song.
The chorus plays 4 to 5 times, 6
Tom
times.
Petty forgot it can go wrong the other way, where there's too many choruses.
Yeah, there's like 6 choruses on the end of like every song, which is like not really needed, but to the point that the songs really aren't bad is pretty
Yo,
good.
this shit came out in 1981.
This would be
There would be 4 hits on this.
This
Yeah,
would be
right,
one
right.
of the
To
biggest
me-
albums of all time if this was released in the 80s.
I was talking to Jade, and she was asking me, like, oh, well, what are you guys doing this week? And I said, oh, we're doing the new Journey record. And she's like, well, how is it? And I was like, it sounds like a long-lost greatest hits. It's like if Journey had a greatest hits record of all unreleased greatest hits. This is what this album feels like. I think it's a little rough to start off. I think the first few tracks
The
are
first
a little
3
bit
tracks are like kind of a little hard to like Still Believe in, or like Don't Give Up on Us is a good song. Still Believe in Love. It's just they kind of like don't really hit their stride. The middle of the record where
The Way We Used to Be.
yes,
That one. That's a standout track to me.
Yeah.
That's the one that has the most ripping lead guitar. It's lead guitar solo from the top. It has the big brassy synth like down 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 during the choruses.
Yeah, that's like when the record starts to hit its stride. Like right there at like that song, they all start to get like heavier and kind of like more rockin'.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Like Let It Rain, a couple songs after that was like almost like a little Led Zeppelin-y, but like also very Journey-y, just slower and heavy. And then Holding On, which I think was my favorite song on the record, was like another heavy one that I really liked. And it had like these really cool like turnarounds, like down, like kind of
Yeah, there
stuff.
were some heavier bits. I also like Arnell. How do you pronounce it?
Arnell Pineda, man, he's a
Pineda.
badass. Good,
He's great.
He sings his ass off on this record.
I went and saw Journey with Def Leppard. It must have been. It was probably like 2009. So Arnell was
Early
only in the
in,
band
yeah.
for a little while, and or maybe it might have been 2011 because that's the last time I think they dropped an album was 2011. So it was, they must have been going on tour like to promote that record. The thing I like about his vocal performance on this record is it kind of seems like he's like really like settled into who he is, his identity within the band. He's not.
It's like this isn't like a Steve Perry rip the whole
That's
time.
what I'm saying. He doesn't really. Okay,
It is and isn't.
The tonality of his voice is similar to him, because it's kind of because that's how he got the gig in the first place was that he did a really really good kind of impression of him, right? But I feel like he's really really dialed in on this record. And yeah, dude, this is like a Guitar Hero like wet dream record too, though, because
there's actually really good guitar solos on this record.
there's some
like,
killer solos.
Ones that like I was reading a book and I was like, oh, I like perked my ears up. I was like, that was nice.
Yeah,
like, you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
It was a cool record because I didn't expect. It's too long. Like, let's start there.
Yeah, it's for sure. It's too
It's
long.
for sure way too long. It's an hour and like 20 minutes, right? Almost.
Just short of an hour 15.
And it's
I think.
not. I mean,
it's like 73 and change.
I think it's 15 songs. I would cut a song or two, but it's back to what we said. It's really like just trim 40 seconds out of every song.
Yes.
It's
Right,
not
and it'll add up enough.
Every song is 5.5 minutes on this record.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's like the major critique because all the songs are really cool. If you're a Journey fan, it's really great. I just also wanted to shout out like having an album called Freedom and a song called United We Stand on the same album. Salute. Because like
This is the second time we've saluted. Just to throw.
well, you had to. So like I was talking to Mike and I'm like, why did Journey release this record? Like, we're gonna cover it. We're kind of like, we're giggling a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little tongue.
It's tongue in cheek because like the world really doesn't need a Journey record, but they made a record and it's actually, and they didn't really want to make a record before this, and for all of those reasons. And it's not bad at all. It's a really great record for Journey. It's if you're a Journey fan, you are going to absolutely love this record. It's modern, has all the great like references to Journey, but it still has like that modern rock feel, and it has like you feel like it might be another Journey song that like has the flavor of that, but it's not at all.
And I think this is like, a couple things. It's like this is going to be, now that the world is opening up, COVID is finally like, kind of subsiding and everything, and there's bigger events and acts happening and stuff like that. I think this is going to be a great record for them to tour with because people are going to
I would play
like
a lot of these songs on there and like really try to push it because I do think this is like a cool like. It's not like they put out, or like I'm gonna say like crap on like a little Deep Purple here. They put out records that really aren't to snuff to what they were doing back in the day. This is actually up to snuff with what they were doing back in the day. It sounds good,
and they sound good. And I think that like I think that like inevitably like whenever they go back on tour, I mean we've talked about it before a couple episodes ago. I think where there was video of Motley Crue playing, and you see Vince Neil, and he's just like
it's like I don't want to hear a new. I
like,
definitely don't want to hear a new Motley Crue record.
No, but what I'm saying is like at least this is a band where like if you go to see them, you don't go to see them and you go, oh man, this is rough. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be a rough show. It's going to be like, all right, cool, man. They played like the hits. They played any way you want it. They played all that. They peppered in a couple of new songs from the new record to promote it. They come out, they bang out like a 90-minute set, and you're like, yeah, Journey sounded good tonight, man.
Oh yeah, if I'm making the live set for Journey, live acts, roughly just about 20 songs usually. You play because there's 10 big Journey songs.
Yeah.
And then you play 2/3 of this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it stands up to it doesn't have like the classic, all that connotation around the classic material, but they're great songs, great Journey record.
Yeah.
For the modern day, and
we've heard records made by bands before. Granted, this is a band that only has, for everybody except Arnell is like 65 to 75 years old.
Yeah.
But these guys sound great. It doesn't sound like those bands that wait 10 years in between projects and then put out a thing and you're like, it's creaky and it's weird and it's auto-tuned and it's patched together and it's digital edited and it's like this sounds like this could have dropped in 1983 and been like, oh shit.
For that fact too, the drumming on this record clearly all live and great. Like the drumming on this record was like super fun to listen to. I was like, this is live drumming because it perked my ears instantly.
Yeah, and that dude's like 67 years old.
Yeah. Great drumming.
Emil Sean, he's been rocking since he was 17 with Santana.
Randy Jackson.
Sounds great. Randy Jackson is doing his thing.
On bass.
On bass.
Like,
in case people didn't know that, Randy Jackson
of American
Idol fame, he was Journey's bass player when Ross Valerie was I think the original bass player left in the mid 80s, and then Randy Jackson was the guy who replaced their original bassist for like a 2-year world tour.
Yeah.
And so like he's not just like a dude being like, "Yo, dog, it was all right for me." He like is a real working musician, and he's a session bass player and stuff.
Bass player. He's got fucking net. He does. The bass is low in the mix on this, but he does rip on this record too.
Yeah. So all in all, then let's what are our ratings on this record then? If we're gonna give it one,
I'm gonna take myself back to pre-womb. I'm gonna think it's 1984. But even if I think it's 2022, this is definitely, I would say a 7 because I would skip 5 of the songs, but I could put this on with the greatest hits and Journey. I'm not just a cool dude. I like Journey. They're all right.
Yeah.
Like I put on that shit.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
I'll put on the greatest hits. So yeah, I say a 7.
Yeah, I'll meet you there. I'll say about I think a 7's 7.5. You know,
I'm gonna go 6.5, but only because it's like it's not something like I'd listen to. But if this is for you, this is a great.
Great
record.
Luke, you were even saying you were at work today.
I was literally at work today because I had this conversation with Mike. I'm like, "Who is this record for?" And then I was talking to some guy, and he's like, "I'm a big Journey fan." And I go, "Oh, let me stop you." I was like, "Have you listened to the new Journey record?" He goes, "Oh my god." He's like, "I love it," and I was like.
Yeah, because I like Journey, I like Boston, I like Toto.
Right,
like, I
Foreigner.
I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I like arena stuff that has some pretty heavy synths and keyboards on it. And
Journey taking Toto out.
Some big, memorable choruses.
Yeah, Arnell sounds great, man. And I straight up would skip 4 or 5 of the songs. But
my only other really critique before we go is the synth horns, man. Get horn guys. There was a couple like synth parts on there that were like synth horns. And I was like, you could have heard.
But they're like the separate ways type of sound.
I said that to Mike, because I was talking to Mike about it, and I was like, and I went, they are the keyboard rock band, so I was like, I'm kind of like gonna let slip, but I'm like, I was like, come on, man,
let's get some real horns.
Get a real horn in there.
Yeah, but let us know what you think.
Yeah. And
I can't
do you
believe
like
I
this
just gave Journey's new record a 7.
Yeah, we're finally breaking it
like
in.
talked
We're
you
breaking
into it.
I'm finally a 65-year-old boomer.
Finally. It's good to have you, Jeff. Welcome to the club.
Because it was a hard record to hate when you like started listening to it because it didn't have a lot of like stupid hateable parts.
I called him the day when we decided to do that. I called Luke. It was like late at night. I'm like, man, this fucking Journey record dumb as shit. And then I listened to it in full, and I called the next day. I was like, this record's not that bad, man.
That's how I felt exactly.
I was like, shit. There was a moment where like, fuck, I kind of like this. God damn it.
Like
No,
I
didn't want to like it, but I was like, man, these guitar solos are really good, and like this synth work is killer, and like the singing's really good.
And like we said, I think that the true testament is you could put this on a shuffle with the greatest hits,
and it
would fit in.
It'd blend right in, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, you'd have no idea.
It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing record.
Well,
it's no. What's that? The dung beetle? Isn't that there? It's
the sacred flying dung beetles.
Yeah,
with
that's
eagle's wings. I went on a deep dive. Of why is that their logo?
Yeah.
You know what the answer is?
They watched The Mummy.
No, they were whatever the first album with Steve Perry was. Mm-hmm. They hired a pair of artists who did psychedelic airbrush art, and the original Flying Scarab logo was an album artwork that they designed for a Jimi Hendrix project that never got released because he died.
Oh, no.
So it was sitting in the vaults from 1971, and then so this album that was coming out in like 78. And they were like, well, we have this. Nobody's ever used it. And the Journey guys are probably like, that's rad, man. Yeah. I don't know what it means.
So wait,
but it's like Egyptian and it's like mythological.
So wait,
and then every album since then has had the dung beetle, has had the scarab on it.
I know.
It's a scarab. It's not a dung beetle. It's a scarab.
It's a scarab. Is
that the same thing?
Infinity?
I believe a scarab is a type
Infinity?
of.
Yeah, 78.
The Egyptians.
Yes, that is the first one that has it.
The
Infinity.
Egyptians worship them, or
and
something.
then Escape. If you look at Escape, it looks like a spaceship. But that one, the big record. You're like, oh, I love this spaceship, and then you're like, wait, that's a flying beetle coming out of an octopus or a squid underwater. What does it even mean?
I don't even know.
It's lit on fire.
It's fantastic though. It's so good, and good on them. They found their logo, the scarab.
It's weird that Journey went with Egyptian art.
I love it.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. It pairs well with like cut off jean jackets.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense with like Iron Maiden doing the Egyptian thing because they're like a history band.
But Iron Maiden changes that on every record.
But that's what I mean. Yeah, it's like they time travel.
Yeah,
Iron
this
Maiden.
the scarab in space with eagle's wings. Just I don't.
They
I don't
stay.
get it.
They stay in that
I don't get it.
that prehistory.
Yeah, they stay in the prehistory. Anyway, let us know what you think. Also,
Like and subscribe, share.
like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Let us know what you think of the new Journey album. Do you like it? Do you not like it? So yeah, until next time.
Love, peace, hair grease,
Love,
stay
peace, hair
rad.
grease. Have a great week at school, everyone. We'll see you next week.
This has been a presentation from the Wasted Robot Network. For more information and links to other shows, please visit www.wastedrobotrecords.com/podcasts.